Today, I want to talk about warm-ups and their purpose and the difference between warming the voice up in general to training exercises to actually warming up to perform in a certain tone or a certain character. They're all very different things, and it's really important to know the difference. Training exercises are just that. It's exercises that are designed to train a particular function in the voice or train a particular tone even. A general warm-up, which I would always recommend before you start singing, it's just something kind of generic that covers the whole range. It might be like speech level singing exercises, like bridging exercises, where you're just keeping the tone very even from top to bottom, releasing any tension, getting the blood flowing, getting the breath aligned, things like that. What people tend to miss is that if you're wanting to sing in a particular genre or with a particular tone or in a particular range of the voice, there is no point in doing like bridging exercises or operatic or classical warm-ups and then trying to sing soul, for example. It's like you're trying to use a completely different voice to what you've just warmed up in. So it's important as well to warm up the actual like sound and feel of the voice that you want for the particular song that you're going to be singing, or, bunch of songs that you're going to be singing. If you're going to be singing like a low song, for example, start with a generic warm-up, whatever feels like opens the voice up and kind of gets it to feel smooth for you, right? And then you might want to warm up the head voice. I usually, particularly women, if they're singing something low with me, I tend to always warm the head voice up on its own, because it's almost like stretching and limbering up before going into something heavier, right? It's stretching the vocal cords. It's just sort of gently getting everything moving. And you don't want the chest voice to be all clunky. You want a bit of like head voice related movement in the chest voice. So might do some like just operatic sounding high stuff just to sort of get everything moving. But that's classed as like the general warm-up of the voice, okay? So the actual specific zoomed in tonal warm-up would be around what sound you're trying to create when you're actually singing the song. So say if it was like a low, like Alison Moyet song, and you wanted to emulate her tone a little bit. So you'd want a nice open soft palate. You'd want nice thick vowels. You'd want to kind of trigger off that sound before warming up, all right? So what you could do is grab the song up, sing a few lines of it, and just kind of get into that voice and get it to where it kind of sounds a little bit like that, and then do the warm-up in that area of the song, right? I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So you'd want to kind of find out where the song lies, like what its tessitura is, what its range is, and where it tends to sit. That's the tessitura, where it tends to sit. And then its range is like anything on either side of that as well. You'd want to incorporate all that into a warm-up, but the main thing is the tessitura, where you're spending most of the time in the song. That's the area you really want to warm into, and then you can branch everything out on either side of that in terms of its full range. Right, so back to this Alison Moyet song. I'm going to take the song Only You, and it starts on a D4. Remember it. Looking through the windows of love. Da 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 da. That goes down. That's a very low note for women, okay? So it's kind of in the low to mid range, but then it's low. So you don't want the voice to be running out there. So if that's the lowest note, you don't want to be sort of warming up from there, right? You want to find the common notes, and that's sort of around the D and the C. E. A good way to do it is to either find a vowel in the tonal palette that you want and then just like base it all off of that so you can keep repeating that vowel. Or you can use a vowel that's nice and resonant or that kind of gives you the sound that you want. So a good sort of go-to vowel to base and build an exercise off is an E, because it's kind of small, it's nice and resonant, and it's quite head voicey, so it gives you a lot of like resonance, but also a bit of movement and a bit of headishness as well, and a bit of darkness, right? Now, there's hundreds of ways you can do that E, okay? So if we find a note that's commonly in the song, now you can E, you can have a toppy, nasally one, E, you can have a really dark one, and then there's everything else in between. You can have an R-coloured E, E. You can have a twangy E, E. You can have a classical sounding E, E. You know, you've got to play around, right, and find an E that you're happy with. Also try different consonants. So you can try a W, we, as opposed to an M, me, gives you a bit more of a speech-like quality, I would say. So just try mixing up the consonants as well. So for a lowy, I quite like a W, but just experiment and find whatever you want. And of course, you can use a different vowel. When you've found a nice resonance with it, then you can just build a small exercise on it. So you can just use the 3 notes. Make sure you get each one the same as you would want it to sound in the actual song, right? So if your song is kind of like, it's going to be heavier, lower, and then it's going to go very light in the top end, for example, if you were singing a Lana Del Rey song, right, it would be quite heavy and like speech-like lower down, but then she goes super light once she's over a certain note. So again, it's like there's no point warming up and turning the voice into a belt as it goes higher. If you're singing a Lana Del Rey song, who doesn't turn her voice into a belt on those notes, she goes lighter. You want to do what you're going to do in the song on the actual notes, right? If you are warming up a belt but then singing something else, that's okay too, but that's part of your generic warm-up. It's not the tonal, genre and tessitura specific warm-up for that particular song, for that particular genre that you're doing, if that makes sense. Back to what I was saying. Get it all in the mood and the character and the tone that you're going to be using, and, you know, maybe go a little bit higher than you need to, but spend most of your time around the area where the song's going to be. You might have one, like, A4 in the song, and you have 100 C4s, right? So warm up the C4, because that's where the tone is going to come from, that little area of the voice. We. That is fine for a warm-up that's specific to a song. in your training exercises, you might cover more of a range, but that's not what we're doing. We're just trying to really get into the character and tone of what we're going to be using. We. We. And then there might be one E. We. You know, but then go back to the common area of the song, which is around the C4. We. And then, after you've kind of warmed your E up, right, you can let the other vowels come out of that. So again, you can either sing a little bit of the song and find how you want each vowel to sound, or you can listen to the singer if you're trying to really emulate their sound and see how their vowels sound, okay? So, for example, if we were doing this Alison Moyet song and we wanted to use some of the exact vowels that she uses and some of the exact colours, a good example is her A, right? She kind of goes, A. It's quite English sounded. I believe she's Scottish, but it's quite of an era. You'll hear in that kind of when she first came out in the 80s, or that's when she was big in the 80s, she was with a band called Yazoo, and they had quite a punky kind of edge. And if you listen to bands like Yazoo and The Cure, the other bands like that, they've all got this kind of, it's almost like a Cockney sounding vowel palette, right? With her, it's extremely resonant. There's a bit of nasality to it, which helps it to carry, but there's a lot of darkness and chunkiness. And she has a very open, soft palette. To open the soft palette, I like to think of, I'm flaring the nostrils, but from about here rather than here. So you can't see it like that. But I'm flaring the nostrils. Rather than yawning and opening that way. So it's kind of like opening back. But anyway, I digress. We take her A. Let's put a consonant on it. May, way, 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 way. Way, 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 way. 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 Way, 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 way. Here, where it transitions, there's like a little mini passaggio down in the lower end. So how are you going to be tackling that? Are you going to be copying the way that she tackles it? Are you going to be reaching down? Way, 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 way. Or are you going to be letting it go lighter? Way, 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 way. Or are you going to be aiming to keep it the same tone, but maybe it'll just get a bit quieter? Way, 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 way. Way, 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 way. Way, 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 way. Again, it's like if you're doing training exercises or a generic warm-up, you'll be doing a certain thing, all right? But in the songs, you might not necessarily be keeping the tone or the weight even. So whatever you're doing there, if you're going to be reaching down around that note, then reach down, like do the same thing there for the actual exercise. I hope this is making sense. All right, and then just either build the other vowels off of the resonant E or find the vowels in the song or the types, the vowel sound that you want, the colour and the tone, and then just use those. Alternatively, you can take lines out of your songs. Any lines that work particularly well, You know the ones. And you're singing through your songs and you're like, oh, I was pretty proud of that line that I just sang. Choose that one, all right? And then you can keep repeating that, or you can put different vowels onto it, or you can move it around in terms of pitch, or do all of them, right? So I'll show you. All right, love this line here. Came, because it's got some of the A. Came back only yesterday. Came back only yesterday. All right, so you can do that. Get it to where it sounds really good, and then just move it around a little bit. Came back only yesterday. Came back only yesterday. Came back only yesterday. And again, right, because I'm doing this in a tonal specific way and a tessitura and weight specific way, I'm not going to be bridging here like I might do in a different song, or I might do if I'm doing a warm-up or some training on bridging. So I'm not going to be, came back only yesterday, like going into mixed voice, or, I mean, it's not quite there in that range for me, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to treat it like you are singing the song, right? So what I would be doing in the song is kind of just widening, came back only yesterday, making it a bit louder, you know, and then I'm not going to go any higher than that because the song doesn't go higher than that, right? And then I'm going to come down. Came back only yesterday. Then I'm going to go down. Came back only yesterday. There, she pushes into the lower notes, which I quite like, so I'm going to do the same thing. Came back only yesterday. All right. Came back only yesterday. Came back only yesterday. Now, I could go lower than that if I wanted to, but she doesn't go lower than that. And like I said, you want to spend time in the common area more than the extreme range, like the extreme polars, like the top of the range of the song and the bottom of the range of the song. You want to be in the tessitura. I keep repeating myself. Okay. So you could also base some vowels off of that as well, especially ones that maybe don't sound quite as good as some of the other ones, right? Hear me. Right, so the word hear, I think, want more of an open sound rather than hear me. Want more of a hear me, hear me. You know, if you're not used to doing that, like just spend some time like practicing doing the vowels that are a little bit different to what you'd normally do. So, I'm going to put an M on there just for argument's sake. I'm going to sing it on the tune that I've just done. Da 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 da. Me 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 me. It still feels like the character that I want, right? Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. I'm starting to like mix and go into a bridge there, so I'm just gonna come back down. Me 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 me, etc. Right? If I do that with a ton of different vowels, a ton of different sounds, both from the song and just vowels that I want to use, that I kind of think, yes, that one sounds good, I want to use that. Like you're building color, you're warming up the color and the resonance and the character and everything, and you're getting used to here it goes heavier, here it goes lighter, down here it goes lighter again. Like you're getting inside the song, inside the vocals of the song, and inside the technique and the tonal color. All right. If you think about like opera singers, They warm up the way they sing. They have exercises that sound tonally the same as when they're singing their songs. They have warm-ups that sound the same tonally as when they're singing their songs. But it's very strange to me how contemporary genres don't do that. Like, why are we're trying to sing a chunky, low Alison Moyet song, but we're up here doing speech level singing and classical head voice exercises. Yeah, it's great for actually physically warming the voice up, but it's not going to do anything for the coordination that we're trying to use, right? So that's what I would advise singers to start doing, is warm up in a genre and tone specific way. You know, you don't want to go straight from your sort of straight-laced bridging exercises, and then you're trying to do like a James Brown kind of character and tone. Like, the two need to be more integrated than that, right? And you can also warm up a specific mood. So if you're singing like an aggressive song, you don't want to be all la 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 la, and then like it doesn't make much sense. But that's not to say that you don't do the other one first, but you have to get nearer to what you're actually trying to create when you're actually singing, right? Yeah, and like I said before, let your voice do what you're allowing it to do in the actual song. So if you're flipping over, if you're like pulling chest voice up in the song, and you've got loud passages, and then you've got head voicey bits, right? Whilst you might want to warm up all of that seamlessly with the bridging exercises, you also want to practice singing like heavier and then flipping over, and then heavier and then flipping over. Like, actually do the techniques that you're using in the song in the warm-up as well. Hope that made sense and wasn't too rambly. You can go to my website to book a Skype or Zoom lesson with me, but I'm in the process of creating mini courses and just bits and pieces of videos of exercises that you can purchase for download. I would like to really understand what it is people would like. I know these genre and tone specific warm-ups are something as an idea that's quite popular. A lot of people have sort of expressed interest in that. But if there's anything else that you would like to see, either videos on YouTube or over on my website, then just let me know. Just, share your vocal issues and thoughts down below in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I am winding down my teaching, my live teaching. I'm going to be going on maternity leave, so I'm going to have most of my stuff online, and I do want to grow the channel and sort of move my work over to more remote online stuff, moving it into the 21st century. So yes, that would be really helpful if you'd subscribe and like the video, share it with all your friends, roast me in the comment section, pick apart my ideas, debunk everything that I've said, whatever you want. Thank you. Bye.